Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, we're going to talk about the psychology of risk in business and why entrepreneurs think different when it comes to business and when it comes to taking risk. So we're going to basically break it all down, and that's what this video is about, guys. All right, so the first point is there's this misconception when it comes to taking risk in business that they look at it like gambling. They look at it like going to the casino and putting all your chips on red or black or whatever. And oh my God, hopefully you have a 50% chance of either winning your money or doubling your money, etc. Right? So, and I'm here to tell you guys that that's not the truth at all. It's actually really different than that. So the first question for this video is going to be, why do some people risk everything when it comes to business while others don't and they play safe? They decide to play safe for most of their business career or whatever, or their career as entrepreneurs. Why some people just risk everything and they put everything on the table, like I did, for example. Like a lot of big people did, Elon Musk, Oprah, I mean, the list goes on. A lot of big people, they put everything on the line for their idea, and you from the outside, to you looks delusional, to you looks like, bro, they're crazy. Why would you ever put that much effort, and why would you put everything on the line for this crazy idea of yours? What if it doesn't work? So that's what we're going to break down, because I have a lot to break down and talk about all those little points that I just made. But yes, that's the first point. So the first thing is, most people think you're just fearless and you're crazy in the head and you're just willing to go out there and do whatever you want and take risks, right? But we're really calculated in that sense. And a lot of these things doesn't mean that we're not scared. It might seem like that to you because you're on the other side, but we're actually really we manage everything and we oversee everything and make sure that we have pretty good odds of doing these things, right? So it doesn't mean that we're not scared and we don't feel the emotion of being scared. It means we're scared, but we do it anyways. That's what being an entrepreneur is. That's what being a business person is, I guess, or businessman, I guess, whatever you want to call it, right? Business owner. Right, we're going to start with the richest man in the planet, Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is actually really interesting because he first saw PayPal, right? That's what you said. He saw PayPal, and he sold it for a large amount of money. I can't pull up the number right now. It's like 300 million or something, I think. So he was good. Like, he was set for life. He could have just, he had that money. He could have just bought a mansion and lived in that mansion forever and not had to worry about anything else. But instead, he was what I described, somebody that you have to keep moving. You need to wake up to something. We spoke about this on the previous video to this. So he was that type of person that he needs to do something. He needs to move. If he doesn't move, he's miserable. Like, he can't live like that, right? So what Elon Musk did was he started two other companies, which is SpaceX and Tesla. And at the beginning, right when he was starting this, 2008, everything was bad. The economy was bad. So he almost went out of business with those two companies. But he had to save it with his own funds. He made things happen, even though he didn't have to. He was already rich. A lot of people forget that little fact about Elon Musk. In 2008, he was already rich. He didn't need to pursue more. He was already rich. He already had millions in the bank. He could have went to his mansion and just check if he had a mansion, because I don't think he wanted to buy a mansion. That's the type of guy Elon Musk is. He's willing to put all the money that he won from selling PayPal for these two other companies that he created that could have not worked. Because not only because PayPal worked doesn't mean that your next two companies are going to work. But he was crazy enough to be like, you know what, I think I can do it again twice. And guess what? He did it twice, and now he's the richest man in the planet in 2025. Right, so we're going to put an example of this lady called Sarah Blakely. She founded Spanx, which is, I guess, apparel, like clothing for women, I guess. So she started this business with $5,000 in her savings account, right? That's all she had, $5,000 to her name. And she was like, you know what, I'm starting this business. I might be crazy, I might not be crazy. This might work, this might not work. I might end up a billionaire, which she did, or I might end up on the side of the road, right? Like broke as fuck, homeless, all of that, right? So she started with 5K. She had no business background, meaning she didn't go to school for this. And a lot of the best entrepreneurs didn't go to school for business majors, etc., etc. A lot of the best entrepreneurs, they had little to no background on business. They had little to no information on business. They had little to nothing about business, accounting, none of that. Like a lot of it, I didn't. I know I didn't, and I made a lot of mistakes. Doesn't mean I won't make mistakes. It means I made mistakes, but you also learn from those mistakes, and you make sure that doesn't happen again, right? So yes, a lot of the best entrepreneurs, they don't start with a business background. In her case, she didn't. She also didn't tell anybody out of fear that they would talk about her, which is smart if you think about it. If you want to start something, you don't have to go out there and tell everybody else. It started from the comfort of your own room, just crafting ideas on your paper, sheet of paper, drafting ideas, etc., etc. You don't have to just go out there and announce it to the entire world, because there's always going to be people that are going to encourage you. Is that how you say it? They're not going to like the fact that you're doing something with your life, right? Because their life is so shitty that you don't have to. They're not going to be happy that you're doing something with your life, right? So always make sure that whenever you're starting something, especially at the beginning stages, always keep it private. Don't go out there and announce all your plans right away, right? Because there's a lot of jealous people that don't want you to succeed in this plan, right? So always keep that in mind. Another key fact and a key thing that this is really important. She kept her job. She kept her 9 to 5, right? And I really encourage everybody to keep 9 to 5 whenever testing out an idea, because you don't know if it's gonna work. And I know some people say, "Oh, you don't need a plan B. Stay with a plan if you have a plan." No, let's be realistic here. Most times it's probably not gonna work. Most times it is, well, probably it is gonna work. But you know, the best thing in both of those scenarios is to keep your job, right? Do not quit your job right away. You could if you got really huge balls, like some people. You could, but if you don't, that's okay also, because you can also make it. There's no right path to being rich or being a great entrepreneur or successful business owner, right? So what I did was I actually quit my job. I was in there. I was running my business while working a 9 to 5 for 2 months, and then I quit because I saw results right away. But actually, I did wait like 2 months to see results, right? So I always encourage everybody: don't be like, oh, I'm gonna start a business. I have 5K in my savings account. I'm gonna quit my job right now. I'm gonna start a business. And yeah, don't do that. First, do the transition. Stay in your job for 5 months, 6 months, 2 months, but you need to do your job while working on your business idea, right? I don't like the word side hustle. I would never use that word. Stay with the word business. Never use side hustle. So I don't know who invented that piece of shit word. That's the worst word ever. Don't call your business a side hustle, because if you keep calling it a side hustle, it's going to stay a side hustle. Call it a business, because it's a business, right? Do not do side hustle. Do business. So yes, work on your business while you keep your 9 to 5. It's called mitigated risk, and yes, we're going to put an example about a company that a lot of people are super delusional. I'm saying be delusional, but not to the point where you're let's say not. I'm saying be delusional, but don't be that delusional. Meaning, like, you need some facts back in your delusion, right? You need some research, logic, and research, and all of these facts, all of this back in your delusion. Meaning, whenever, and I'm gonna put an example here. Whenever Netflix first started, they knew they were going against a big guy, which is Blockbuster, right? The DVD company. So they were going against a big company, and they were a little company, right? So right now, you guys might be like, "Oh my God, Netflix is super big." At the time, they weren't. They were a little company, right? Against a big monster company, which is Blockbuster. But they didn't just go up there and start swinging. No, they did the research, they did their analysis, and they looked into trends, suggesting that Blockbuster in a few years wasn't going to be around, the way the internet was moving, the way movies were moving, streaming, etc., etc. So what Netflix did was they did their business model, which now everybody knows, the subscription model with the movies and stuff like that, digitally, right? You didn't need DVDs anymore, right? So that's how they took Blockbuster out of business. So they had research. They did the research, they did their analysis, they did their logic. And they were also a little bit delusional. You need to be a little delusional because you're going against a big guy, right? But they were also prepared. They weren't that delusional. They were prepared, but they knew they had to be a little delusional to go up against a big guy, right? So anytime you're challenging a big opponent, you always need backup. And what is your backup? Knowledge. All right. So we're going to talk about risk versus recklessness. And you guys might be wondering, William, what are you talking about, right? So there's a difference, right? Don't be so delusional. And again, I'm using the word delusional because it's a good word to use. But so in good risk, you have a high upside, a manageable downside. Meaning, if you were to lose, so let's say you have 5K and you invest those 5K in your business because you really believe in it, plus you already did all your research. Let's say, what is the worst thing that can happen if you do lose those 5K, those $5,000 that you have to your name, right? Is everything gonna come crashing down? Like, do your analysis. Are you going to be able to survive? Do you have a backup plan? Do you still have that 9 to 5? Back to the 9 to 5 thing, right? So, and then you have bad risk, which is unclear outcomes and no backup plan. Meaning, the stupid person, what they will do is quit their job right away with no logic, with no research, with no analysis done, and they just quit their job because they're so delusional to the point that they think their idea is gonna work, even though the outcome is unclear. They don't know. They don't have data backing up their crazy delusion, right? So they just quit their job and they have no backup plan. And if they lose those 5K, for example, they're done, right? So you need to do good risk, not bad risk, right? So always gotta ask yourself these questions. Ask those 3 questions. First, can I afford to lose this? Second, what's the worst case scenario? And third, can I bounce back if I fail, right? So can you get that job back? Or savings are just savings, is the money still gonna keep rolling in from your 9 to 5 if you still have the 9 to 5, right? Which is why I recommend keeping the 9 to 5 when you're pursuing your business. And yes, okay. Another thing a lot of people confuse is boldness and experience, right? Because you might look at somebody and that guy might be super confident about the business they're launching or something they're doing, right? You're like, damn, like I wish I had the confidence that guy had. But don't confuse confidence with actually being an expertise in that industry, right? So sometimes somebody's really confident about something because they, again, like the Squid Game meme, that I've played these games before, right? I've done this before. I know I'm familiarized with the market. I'm familiarized with the industry. Like, for example, me with the music industry, right? I played these games before. I was in this industry for a lot of years prior to me making a comeback. So from somebody who might just meet me this year, they might be like, whoa, you're super passionate about this thing. And like, it looks like you're really confident that it's going to work. I'm like, yeah, bro, maybe because I know it's going to work. Maybe because I have knowledge in this industry. Maybe because I know something that you don't, I'm familiarized. I know how it works, right? So whenever you see somebody starting their company and they're super confident and they're putting a lot of money into it and they probably even already quit their job, it's probably because they know something that you don't know yet, right? So you're just seeing you're seeing one side of the story, right? They already know how it's gonna work. They already know the revenue that they're gonna make. So yes, again, they did their analysis, right? They're knowledgeable in this industry. So don't confuse just being overconfident and being delusional with actually knowing what you're talking about in the industry that you're on, right? Right. So how to build risk tolerance, right? First, you need to start small and take micro risk. So take little risk and build a risk tolerance. Learn how to take risk. Learn how to fail or win. You need to learn that, right? Second, use frameworks. Worst case scenario analysis, right? Do upside/downside ratio, right? So upside and the downside. And then you also need to surround yourself with people who won't default to fear. Big thing about business is fear. Do not let fear get in you, right? Do not let fear cloud your judgment. Do not let fear into your mind, right? I feel like whenever you let fear into you, that's when everything really goes downhill super fast, faster than if it was already going downhill. Having fear is going to 10x that, if that makes sense. Track outcomes of your past decisions. Learn your own patterns. Meaning, how do you usually act whenever you lose? Whenever you actually lose and you take a loss, have you analyzed yourself in the past? So in the past, what have you done that whenever you lost something, how did you react? Like, did you end up doing something stupid or something dumb? Or how do you act whenever you win? You gotta analyze yourself and see if you're fit to run a business. Because if you're somebody that usually starts pointing fingers whenever they lose, you're like, no, I didn't get my way because of you and you and you. No, that's not a good leadership position. You need to own up to your mistakes and be okay with losing, because a big part of winning is losing. You need to learn how to lose, and that will prepare you to win. Right, so here's a small sentence that ChatGPT gave me, which is, remember this, guys, the most successful people don't avoid risk. They study it, shape it, and use it to their advantage. The question isn't, are you ready to take the leap? The real question is, how well are you planning your landing? So how well are you planning your landing if it does go your way or if it does not go your way? So always gotta ask yourself that. And that's going to be the video for today about fear and risk management, etc., and how entrepreneurs view risk or taking risk in business. So I don't just recommend thinking of it like gambling. This is not gambling. We take really calculated risk. That's what it's called. If you lose something, make sure that what you lose doesn't completely tear you down apart. Make sure that you still keep that 9 to 5 if you are working a 9 to 5, and start small. I always say this. I seen a video of this guy saying this, but I also say this myself, and I agree with that guy on these TikToks that I be watching, which is the best businesses require little to no investment. Meaning, you have to be okay with testing out ideas without investing a lot of amount of capital, right? So the best ideas and the most ideas that create the most money, you can start with little to no capital. So always keep that in mind. And really, to be honest, I can't really think of that many businesses that you can start. You don't need capital. There's not that many businesses that you need capital like right now. Like you can do so many things in business. Is you just gotta get creative with it. You can take out loans or bring in partners or share equity or get together with your friends, etc. And you're always going to be able to start a business. Don't be scared because you can't let fear get into you. You don't know the outcome. Maybe it is going to work, maybe it's not going to work, but you have to be okay with the fact that it might not work. And that's okay, because that's how winners are made. So that is going to be the video for today, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next Wednesday. This video was made last minute, so which is why I was in a rush a little bit. But next video will be more prepared and will be a little different because I might bring more people to talk about business in the video. So stay tuned for that, guys.